Hello, welcome to Salt and Light Canning. I'm Jessica and this is my kitchen. I am so happy that you're here. Today I am making pickled eggs, and before you ask, no, there is no approved safe way to can pickled eggs. But I am making pickled eggs today. I have made these in the past, so you can go back and watch those videos too. I do have my eggs on the stove and they're coming to a boil, and right now I'm making my brine. So the brine is 1 part water, and this is just filtered water. If you're on well water and you don't have to worry so much about chlorine and stuff in your water, then you don't have to do filtered water. To 3 parts vinegar. And you can use any kind of vinegar you like. Just make sure it's at least 5% acidity. We happen to just have an abundance of eggs this week, so in an effort to preserve them, I'm pickling them. My son really loves pickled eggs, so I make them for him. If you don't love pickled eggs, that's okay. Not everybody does. And you could, if you wanted to, you could just do straight vinegar. Alright, I'm going to get this on the stove and bring it to a boil. So I did the math, and I know from prior experience you can fit about 10 eggs per jar. I have 142 eggs currently boiling, so I have 14 jars. To these jars, I'm going to add my spices and my seasonings, and when the eggs are done, I'll put them in the jars. So I'm going to add a bay leaf. Please add the things that you like. Just think about pickles and what you would like in pickles. And that usually tastes pretty good for pickled eggs. There are tons and tons of recipes out there for pickled eggs. You can follow any of them that you like. Also, to each jar, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. You can add more or less if you like. It's really up to you. Also going to add about a teaspoon of sugar. You do not have to add sugar. I just do that so that my garlic doesn't turn blue. But if you don't mind your garlic turning blue, don't add sugar. It's not going to hurt anything if your garlic turns blue. Now I'm going to add some onion flakes. A teaspoon of onion flakes to each jar. I might go back. I might do 2. Yeah, I'm going to do 2. I hope your new year is just wonderful. We are just so blessed. Like I said, we have an overabundance of eggs, praise God. You know, God is so good. I'm blessed to be able to do this for my family. If you've never had a pickled egg, it's a little bit like a deviled egg, but without the mayonnaise. All right, I'm going to add some garlic cloves to each jar. It's just peeled garlic cloves. Please do. If you don't like garlic, don't add it. You could also add like some sliced jalapenos, or really just anything you like. I've seen some people just use hot sauce. They make a brine with hot sauce for their pickled eggs. Now, because of the vinegar, I never worry about my eggs spoiling. They can last a very long time, like 6 months, just as pickled eggs. But you're only going to want to wait like 2 weeks, and then they will be all pickly and just delicious. I have some pickling spice. I'm going to add a teaspoon of pickling spice. I'm going to add just a couple of peppercorns to each jar, like 4 or 5. Some mustard seed. about a teaspoon. I'm going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes, about just a little bit, not a teaspoon, just a little sprinkle. Some dill, about a teaspoon of dill. All right, I'm going to clean up my mess and I'll be back when I'm putting eggs in jars. All right, so I boiled my eggs and they have been sitting in an ice bath right here in this bowl. I also have some in the pot back there in an ice bath. So I boiled them, they came to a boil, and I let them boil for about 8 minutes. And now I'm going to peel them. And this is the longest part about making pickled eggs, is peeling your eggs and getting them ready to go in the jar. But it's worth it. So do your best to not pull off the white of the egg. But at the end of the day, it's just an egg, so it's okay. All right, I have all of my eggs in my jars, all my spices in my jars. Now I just have to get the brine. When you're filling your jars with brine, make sure your eggs get covered. I'd just like to state again, there is no safe, approved method of canning pickled eggs. I know lots of people still do it, but there is no safe, approved method. Don't these look pretty in the jar? They're going to look even better after they've sat for a couple weeks. So delicious. This is one of my son's favorite things that I make. And I'm just wiping it out of habit. I was asked this week if I water glass eggs, and I do. I have a video about water glassing eggs, and those are great also if you have an abundance of fresh eggs that you need to preserve. They still work out really well for like scrambled eggs or for cooking. They're just wonderful. And I do recommend doing that if you have a lot of fresh eggs from your chickens. But if you have a lot of fresh eggs, maybe you find a couple flats on sale and from the store, I absolutely recommend making pickled eggs. These are great like on a salad or just as a snack next to like some toast or like some French fries. Or you can cut it up and put it on a sandwich. Lots of great things to do with pickled eggs. Now these are going to need to sit for about 2 weeks for them to become pickly. And they can keep in your refrigerator for months. You don't have to worry about it. I've heard some people even have their pickled eggs up to a year, and they're still wonderful. I don't know that I've ever made enough for a year, but there's also lots of other different recipes for pickled eggs, so this is just mine, what we like. But I've seen some people use like beetroot juice, or I've seen some people make like an Asian inspired pickled egg with soy sauce. And those all sound delicious too. If you wanted to, you could add a little turmeric. And that would turn them yellow. And turmeric's good for you too. It helps reduce inflammation. Just wonderful. You will have to let me know what things you try with pickled eggs. Everything always looks better in a jar. Well, there you have it. That's how I do pickled eggs. Let me know what you do. Let me know what you like. These are going to be just delicious. We're very excited to have them on the shelf. Be so blessed. Know that you're loved and be a blessing to someone else. I'll see you in the next video.